Entergy is proud to support programming on LPB and greener practices that preserve Louisiana.
The goal of our environmental and sustainability initiatives really is to ensure that our kids and future generations can be left with a cleaner planet.
Additional support provided by the Fred B. and Ruth B. Ziegler Foundation and the Ziegler Art Museum located in Jennings City Hall. The museum focuses on emerging Louisiana artists and is an historical and cultural center for Southwest Louisiana. And the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting, with support from viewers like you.
It just shows how deeply red this state has gotten.
How Louisiana voted.
It's a great place, and it's a place that's certainly worth saving.
What's in the works to protect Grand Isle.
There are children around you that are sexually abused every day.
How a home of hope reverses despair.
Hey everyone, I'm Andre Morrow. Much more on those top stories in a moment on this week's edition of SWI. The week dominated by the election and the counting of ballots in the presidential race, plus the results of our statewide elections. Also rising coronavirus numbers nationally and statewide. Big concerns, and the governor is extending phase 3 restrictions for another month. His powers to declare emergency decisions, they remain in place despite attempts by opposition. Here's a look now at the latest coronavirus numbers in our state. You see the total numbers, which include 855 new cases and 21 new deaths. And now we'll look at some of the other headlines making news across our state.
Sports betting, one with voters in most of the state's parishes on Election Day. Those parishes are ones that represent most of Louisiana's population. Placing a bet, though, on live action games won't happen immediately, likely a year away because of tax rates and regulations to be set. The Army Corps of Engineers will consider if potential impacts to the environment would require it change, suspend, or revoke the permit for a $9 billion plastics complex. The Taiwanese company Formosa is planning to build the plant in St. James Parish. The Corps next week plans to explain to a U.S. District Court why the construction authorized under the permit may not proceed. The iconic Dixie beer name is history, but the company will continue on under the new name Faubourg Brewing. Gail Benson, the owner of the Saints, who also owns majority share in the brewery, made the announcement this week. The company announced back in June it would rename Dixie, pointing to the conversations happening around the country about racial injustice. Captain Lamar Davis, a 25-year veteran of state police, is now the new superintendent. Davis succeeds Colonel Kevin Reeves, who retired amid ongoing questions about the death of a black man in state police custody. The governor says Davis has had an outstanding career and takes the job in one of the most difficult times in our state's history. The Louisiana man who admitted to burning down 3 predominantly African-American churches in Opelousas and Port Barry got a sentence of 25 years this week. He was also ordered to pay the churches more than $2.5 million. 23-year-old Holden Matthews, the son of a St. Landry Parish deputy, said he set the fires to promote himself as a black metal musician.
There's news from the Shell Oil Refinery in Convent that's halfway between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. It's shutting down. The company had tried to sell it, but with no success. It means hundreds of workers will lose jobs. Shell says it will offer opportunities within the company or help workers find new jobs. The Convent refinery sits on 4,400 acres and has been able to process 240,000 barrels of crude oil per day. It's been an exhaustive election week like none we've seen nationally, and that continues. Louisiana had no such drama. I talked with political gurus Melinda Deslatte of the Associated Press and Greg Hilburn of USA Today Network to recap how the state voted.
Senator Cassidy, the Republican incumbent, won with 59% of the vote, which and didn't even need a runoff, and he had 14 opponents against him, which I think shows how strong Republicans incumbents are in this state. I mean, we are a very Republican state. All of the the U.S. House incumbents, they all won re-election. All the ones who were actually running, and the only congressional race that's going to a runoff is the one in the 5th district, which Greg can probably talk about more.
Congressman Ralph Abraham represents that, but didn't seek re-election. He stuck to a term limit, a term limit that he gave himself, 3 terms. So he didn't run again. He was popular. He could have won, and that came down to 2 Republicans. But for the runoff on December 5th, Luke Letlow, who was Congressman Abraham's chief of staff, and Lance Harris, who is a state representative from Alexandria.
The race that got all the attention, it seemed, was Perkins and Cassidy. And after it was all over, it was surprising that it was such a wide margin. At least it was to me.
The question was he going to be able to defeat 14 opponents and win outright, or have to go to a December 5th runoff? And quite frankly, he exceeded all expectations in that. I mean, he blew out all of his opponents. He's well over 50%. He was at 59% when all the results were in.
I think it's not only a reflection of his performance or how the constituency views his performance, but also it just shows how deeply red this state has gotten. Unlike many others where you see a deep South Georgia, is maybe turning purple.
The state, the nation, we're in trouble. How do you see us coming out of this in the next, say, year?
The world has been hit in 2020 by a lot of terrible things, but the state has taken blow after blow if you add the hurricanes onto the COVID. And I think you will see there'll be a reckoning, financially with the state. It hadn't happened yet, but I think that's coming. It can't not come with all the aid that Louisiana needs to even get close to being made whole from hurricanes and from COVID.
We don't know when this pandemic ends. We don't know when a vaccine is going to be available. That obviously matters. At the moment, there's another tropical storm depression that's lingering and could be headed our way, so we could get hit by a 6th storm for the season. So clearly there's going to be an impact on us, not just mentally and emotionally, but financially. And we have no concept of what that's going to look like yet. And I think that will be the story that legislators and the governor are dealing with in 2021.
As always, I thank you both so much. You're always a great help and give great words to our audience.
Thanks, Andre.
Voters said yes to 5 of 7 amendments to our Constitution this week. But what will the changes mean? I sat down with Counsel for a Better Louisiana President Barry Erwin and Robert Travis Scott, who heads up the Public Affairs Research Council. The amendments, these are things that you guys extremely well versed in. As 2 of the state's top government watchdogs, you had your eyes on it. So let's go through what passed, what didn't, what this means, say, going forward the next 4 years. With the no rights to abortion, though, the state has an official stand now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really surprising. Louisiana's been pretty strong on, anti-abortion type things. This amendment basically puts in the Constitution with clarity the statement that there is nothing implied in our Constitution that by implication gives a woman a right to an abortion. So it doesn't have any impact now, but if Roe v. Wade is overturned, then it certainly does.
Let's talk about the oil and gas amendment. And again, how will this play out down the road in terms of revenue?
Well, Amendment number 2 basically passed, and I think partly because there was an agreement between assessors who had a role in this and also the oil and gas industry. They had a formula for computing the property value of wells that just wasn't working out so well, and so they came together and they made a better way of doing this. And I think the voters, probably enough of them, said, okay, if you got a better mousetrap, let's try it.
How was cable looking at this one?
We felt like it was a good idea, especially when you get 2 groups that have not been together on an issue for a very long time to come together, then it's like, go with it.
Exactly. Rainy Day Fund, Amendment 3.
Well, Amendment number 3 basically now allows a new reason to tap the Rainy Day Fund, and that's for a federally declared disaster. So we've had about a dozen federally declared disasters in the last 4 years, so you can absolutely guarantee the Rainy Day Fund will get tapped more than it used to.
Amendment 4, state budget expenditure limit, did not pass.
That was, to me, the only one that was a surprise, because basically what it does is it's an amendment that would limit the growth in the expenditure limit that we already have, which is a long way of saying basically it would kind of constrain the growth in spending over a period of time.
Amendment 5. Payments instead of property taxes.
Yeah, Amendment 5 had a well-organized multi-group opposition that set up against it. And I think one of the lessons to learn from this is that if you're a legislator and you're going to bring a proposal for a constitutional amendment, you need to demonstrate to the rest of the legislature that you have a support mechanism, that you're going to be able to take that to the polls and be able to actually defend it and go out and advocate for it. If you don't, why should you subject the people of Louisiana to trying to vote on it? And this was an amendment that was supported by local government groups. It was also supported partially by industry, but not uniformly by industry.
But it failed.
And it failed, and it failed big time.
Right.
So I think there may be some lessons to learn from that.
And Together Louisiana was happy about that. Amendment 6, Barry, expanded property tax freezes.
Well, this is one of many things we have done many times in the Constitution in recent years, and that's give another property tax break to certain groups of citizens. Basically, we already have one for senior citizens based on their income level. It kind of freezes their assessment after age 65 with some caveats in there. What this does, though, is it basically changes the income threshold, so you can make a little bit more money and still get this tax break. So it kind of expands this tax break or this tax freeze to a broader group of people.
And let's briefly wrap up the amendments with number 7, the new fund for unclaimed property.
This was an amendment to put all that into a trust fund and protect it a little bit better, and I think that must have rung true with a lot of the citizens of the state.
Well, I know you'll be watching to see how these decisions play out over the next several years, and of course the sports betting thing, parish by parish, we'll see how that goes too. Maybe it'll make money for the state. Who knows? Thank you guys for being here.
All right, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
Hurricane Zeta was the first of 5 named storms this year to hit Louisiana and hit Grand Isle head on. With 100-mile-an-hour winds came a storm surge that blasted an already eroded levee system. I talked with CPRA Executive Director Bren Haase about what's planned to repair and rebuild it.
There's what we call a burrito levee, the clay core that's wrapped like a burrito, which is why we call it that, in geotextile fabric that forms the core of the dune that most people who travel to Grand Isle are familiar with. That's the dune that you walk over from the camps, obviously, to get to the beach and get to the Gulf of Mexico. Well, at the center of that is what is the burrito, and it's a clay-filled, again, cloth tube, and some of that was damaged. So much of the sand on the western portion of the island, about the western 2,000 feet or so of the island, was washed away from that core. I'm glad to say that core actually performed pretty well, even though it was exposed starting as early as Cristobal this year. Most of it is still there. And obviously, there's a real need to get more land between those levees, that levee and those camps in the Gulf of Mexico, and to repair that burrito levee that's there. It's a matter of pumping sand. And so we actually have a contractor lined up right now to begin pumping sand in front of that levee on the western end of Grand Isle here, just within a matter of a couple of weeks. It should start this month. This is something we had lined up actually early in the year. They were anticipated to be out there last Friday. Of course, when Hurricane Zeta hit, that changed things a bit, and they're been delayed just very slightly, not much at all, but they will be out there within this month, putting more sand again between the Gulf of Mexico and that levee and the camps that are behind that levee. In addition to that, we are working with the Corps of Engineers in the town on a longer-term solution. So some breakwaters have been constructed on that western end of the island already. They appear to have formed very well during this hurricane season and have sequestered some sediment behind them like we expected them to do. But much of that sand that was on that levee has been transported either back onto the island or to the north and east down the beach. And so getting more sediment in that system is key at this point. And obviously, we've been dealing with this now, since Hurricane Katrina and really beyond. This is a hot spot on that island. The fact is that entire island really wants to migrate to the north and to the east, sort of along its shoreline. It's sort of oriented from the southwest to the northeast, and that's the way it wants to move. And so a longer-term solution has got to be developed. And so we don't have that answer just yet. I don't know what that is at the moment, but that's what we're working very, very hard with the Corps of Engineers and with the town to devise. And it likely will include some combination, again, of these breakwaters, perhaps an improved and elevated levee, and a more robust beach and a more constant sediment source as well, so that as sediment wants to move and migrate like it does naturally, there's more sediment behind it to help replenish it.
Do grasses help in any way, or do they have enough time to solidify and anchor themselves in the sand?
Absolutely, yeah. No, so when typically, and we did for this project and for any of our other restoration projects as well, if we place sand in an area, it's obviously light, it gets blown around. You want to conserve it where you place it, of course, and not have it move around too much. And so sand fencing is one way to accomplish that. The vegetation is the most natural and really the most efficient way of doing it. So as that vegetation grows in the sediment, the roots, as you know, if you go out and try to pull up, grass from your lawn, it's going to pull up a big chunk of dirt with it, big chunk of soil with it. And the same holds true for the beaches and dunes along coastal Louisiana.
Grand Isle overall, it's certainly not the place that it was in the late 60s and 70s that I grew up going to. It was very campy then. It's taken on a much more polished edge. A lot of the camps are really nice luxury houses on concrete pilings. And yet there are probably people that say, why do they keep on putting money into that? But yeah, it's a tough thing, but it's a jewel of a place.
Grand Isle is very near and dear to my heart, both from a professional perspective, of course, but also personally. I've spent a lot of time on Grand Isle related to work, but I've also spent an awful lot of time there with my children, with my wife, with my family and friends. But it's also Louisiana's only inhabited barrier island. It's very unique in that respect, and it is a barrier island. And as we know, those barrier islands are our first line of defense. And so they're all worth saving. And of course, if you've got one that's inhabited, that has people and assets and so forth on it, then that makes it all the more worthwhile saving. It's a big part of our culture. Many folks that live in Louisiana and outside of Louisiana have spent many, many, many pleasant days in the town of Grand Isle, fishing, sunbathing, swimming in the waters. It's a great place, and it's a place that's certainly worth saving.
Now, repair work is already underway, and as soon as possible, work to rebuild bigger and better will begin. Because of COVID, New Orleans tourism is down as much as 80% this year after a record 20 million visited last year. The Big Easy is back open for business and helping spread the word. Two of the city's biggest advocates, T. Martin from Commander's Palace and tourism expert Kelly Schultz. I talked with him this week.
All throughout Louisiana, tourism is critical, but especially in New Orleans. It is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Hundreds of thousands of people make their living by welcoming visitors to the city. And when people come visit New Orleans, that's good for the entire state of Louisiana.
Coronavirus has disrupted, and that is not even the beginning word to say about this, cut into the heart of the Crescent City. But you guys are on a mission now to revive that and bring people back and do it in the arena that we're living in, to live safely and with masks, et cetera, but bring back New Orleans.
Andre, this is Louisiana, right? We all know each other. We've done hurricanes, pandemics, and, all that's just this week. So, we know how to get past these things. We've done it before, and we're going to do it. But we want everybody to know that we've all learned from hurricanes, and we learned from Katrina, that you need these little breaks for your emotional health. So we need to come up to the other parts of Louisiana and see some of our favorite places, and y'all need to come to New Orleans. And when you come, we got to tell you that there's everything you always love to do. Yeah. It's still here, but there's also a lot of things that you might not have done because they're newer, like Crescent Park. It's all outdoor, linear park on the magnificent river, right where we are right now. And then you can keep going and go to City Park and be on Bayou St. John before you know it, and you're kayaking, or you're out there just walking, or Kelly and I are sitting on the side of the bank having a little drink.
Yes.
But then next thing you know, you're in City Park and all the way out to the lake if you're on your bike. Yeah.
So great outdoor activities, of course. There is the French Quarter and the restaurants and everything that we know and love. And what is about the restaurants that will be different, but will still be New Orleans right now?
These restaurants. Come on, we're just doing our thing. And we're a little bit less crowded, so everybody's really into it. I think the food's never been better than it is in New Orleans right now. But we've got all these great specials going on.
Yeah, we've got something called our culinary restaurant promotion. We normally do this during the summer, but we brought it back especially for this fall. So you can go to over 60 restaurants in New Orleans, get a 2-course lunch for $22 or less, and a 3-course dinner for $40 or less. You can dine in, you can dine outside at one of our fabulous dining outside options, and also you can do takeout if you prefer. So, people are going to be wearing their masks. They're going to be socially distancing. The restaurants in particular have taken what they call a hospitality pledge, so that it has never been safer in terms of sanitation protocols for all of our hospitality community.
And T and Kelly, as you both know, we wear masks in New Orleans anyway, and you guys.
Yeah, you know, we're serious about this stuff, all right? We've been doing it, but we are serious about this mask, okay?
Yeah.
Yes. It's a double layer of protection, though, that you can wear, and everyone will think, oh, it's New Orleans.
It's true. And then when you're here, you know, like we said, the attractions that you love, I like the zoo, she likes the aquarium, I'm nuts for the World War II Museum. But now when I go, I can actually absorb the attractions. So it's just an amazing time to be here because there's less people. You kind of experience it more like a New Orleanian, like a local.
Yeah.
And very quickly, tell me a little bit about the Christmas season and what's ahead, because that's right upon us and it's fabulous in New Orleans.
Yes, it is. All throughout the month of December, we celebrate holidays New Orleans style. So, you know, we talked about culinary. In December, we have Réveillon dinners. So specials that you can get at restaurants all throughout the city. We have Papa Noel hotel rates. We have, you know, beautiful city park and celebration in the Oaks. I mean, we decorate, you know, everything in the city, streetcars, you know, hotel lobbies, everything you could imagine. So really good time to come throughout the entire month of December. And shopping. Many people don't think of New Orleans.
I got this on Magazine Street.
Of course.
I mean, Magazine Street, the French Quarter, so many great places for holiday shopping. And of course, mild, beautiful weather.
Yes. What to bring back and to the recovery of tourism in New Orleans is in good hands. Kelly, you're a superstar in making that happen. Commander's Palace, T, you know, you got to go there, and that's your place. So thank you both very much. It's great to be with you.
Appreciate it, Andre. We love Louisiana. We're coming to see y'all. Y'all come see us.
Will do. Thank you. More services for children in need and in foster care. Those are big topics and challenges in Louisiana. And good news is sometimes hard to come by, but we have some.
Hurting people hurt people.
At the groundbreaking of this future Methodist children's home, passion poured from every word spoken by Judge Blair Edwards.
And so often with children, they react, respond because of adverse childhood experiences.
Judge Edwards knows what she speaks of. She says every day in the juvenile court in which she presides, she sees children who are at best badly abused and unloved and who are heading towards a lifetime of self-destruction.
There are children around you that are sexually abused every day. They're physically abused every day. I have children that have died at the hands of their parents, the very people that were put here to love and care for them.
She says the children in peril that she sees should not be locked up, but instead loved, treated, and educated. A study from the Annie Casey Foundation ranked Louisiana among the worst in America for the well-being of a child. Many of those children are from broken homes, and almost 30% of them are living in poverty. The national poverty rate for children is 19%. Patrick Blanchard is development director and legal counsel for the state's Methodist Children's Homes. He works from the Ruston location, which first opened in 1902 and has served for almost 120 years. The Casey Foundation believes these homes provide the solution.
When you go to school with somebody, you may not realize what's the backstory on this. Why is this girl always sleeping in class? Nobody knew that she was being traded around or trafficked during the night. So she's trying to catch up on her sleep during the day, or little Johnny might be tied to the front porch, or even worse than that. I mean, we don't know the backstories of these children. They act out. Mandatory reporters are teachers. We're mandatory reporters. So that's how we find out what's going on with these children. It's a hidden thing. It's insidious that some things go on in our state and our country that we only find out about after the child's gotten to the point where they can't handle it anymore and they become symptomatic. A two-parent home seems to be key. Why so many single-parent homes? I don't know. Why so much poverty? I don't know. The difficulty in education. You talk to teachers, you understand that they have a difficult time with discipline in the class, or the kids doing their homework, or things of that nature. So I really don't know the answer to it. But I do know that if we don't help these children that rise to the surface and they're basically screaming for help, if they don't have an experience in their childhood that gives them an opportunity to learn the tools to control their behavior and their emotions, then they're going to be the adults, our colleagues, our neighbors, who don't know how to control their behavior or their emotions. So what do you have there? Another recipe for repeating the problem all over again.
The Methodist Children's Home reverses trauma. It gives them opportunities. You want to talk about return on investment? Take a child, treat them, and then guess what? You don't pay $75,000 a year to incarcerate them. They become taxpayers. They become loving parents. They become people that are giving to others.
Blanchard heads up the team raising money for the new home. $4 million is secured. $6 million more needs to be raised. They broke ground October 21st, and they expect the home to be open next year. For more info and to make a donation, you can check out lumcfs.org. And everyone, that is our show for this week. Remember, you can watch anything LPB anytime, wherever you are, with our LPB app. You can also watch LPB news and public affairs shows, as well as other Louisiana programs that you've come to enjoy over the years. And please like us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For everyone at Louisiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Andre Morrow. Until next time, that's the state we're in.
Entergy is proud to support programming on LPB and greener practices that preserve Louisiana.
The goal of our environmental and sustainability initiatives really is to ensure that our kids and future generations can be left with a cleaner planet.
Additional support provided by the Fred B. and Ruth B. Ziegler Foundation and the Ziegler Art Museum located in Jennings City Hall. The museum focuses on emerging Louisiana artists and is an historical and cultural center for Southwest Louisiana. And the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting, with support from viewers like you.